Everything in life is temporary. Thankfully, that includes our difficult seasons as well. Today's cake is going to be focused on the hills and the valleys, the different seasons in life, and it's going to be dedicated to Nyah, my favorite girl in the whole wide world who learned about these temporary seasons. Hi friends, my name is Sherry Ray, and this is Every Cake Tells a Story, where we learn how to decorate together and love others through cake art, because as I decorate, we'll get to know the individual this cake is dedicated to. Today, it's my daughter, Nyah. She went through a tough and shaping season a couple years ago and discovered a band which quickly became her favorite, for King and Country. So this cake is gonna take into account two different seasons, the difficult one and the song God Only Knows, and where she is now and the song Joy. So let's go spread some love like icing. I've sketched out the cake idea and shown it to Nyah, but she won't see the final cake until it's completely done. I want the Joy side of the cake to be bright and happy. We're using some of the colors that are towards the end of the Joy music video. You see two sets of hands because Nyah helped me get the colors just right. I love trying new cake techniques, so I'm gonna do a marbled buttercream to give it kind of a swirl of excitement. I started with a piece of parchment paper that's about a ½ inch taller than my cake and probably an inch longer on both sides. Then I'll add some different colors to my bowl and stir it around a bit with my offset spatula, being careful not to overmix. Then I'll spread it in various spots on my paper. I'm gonna do that over and over again until I have the whole piece of paper covered. You may wonder why I'm putting the icing onto parchment paper instead of directly onto the cake. The paper is going to allow me to smoothly apply the icing to the cake instead of dragging my spatula around the cake to smooth it and blending those colors too much. Oh, I'm too excited to wait until the next step. Let's jump ahead so I can show you what I mean. First, I have to drag my bench scraper across the top to smooth it out and get an even thickness. See how dull that made the colors as they started to combine? Then I'll need to clean up the bottom of the paper so it'll be nice and flat on the edge of the cake. Now I'm ready to pick it up and put it around the cake. Once I get it in place, I use my hand and then my fondant smoother to help give it that nice clean look. I was so excited at this point because I could already tell it was gonna look so cool. But I had to put it in the fridge so that the icing could firm up before I could remove that parchment paper. Beep! Here we go! It's so pretty! Now I have to cut off the top overhang. I have a cup of hot water to heat my knife blade so it'll slice right through the icing. I just have to make sure it's dry. I like to take things slow, so I cut it down a bit, and then I'm able to more precisely trim it to just the right height. Gotta trim the sides. I can cheat because my cake platter is divided into fourths, so I can simply use the lines on the platter to cut my cake in half. It's time to get to know Nyah. While you do, I'll repeat all that again for the top. Then I'll panel the sides and top of the God Only Knows side with black fondant. I'll just roll out the fondant using powdered sugar on my counter to keep it from sticking. Let's go meet this incredible young lady. Nyah went through a difficult season. It started with her feeling sick on a regular basis, and it took us a while to confirm the cause. Then, to compound the issue, a group that we had been a part of for over a decade and had loved very much, the group dynamic started to change very quickly and very drastically. Nyah started feeling scared to go to the group, but she wanted to hold on to those friendships because most of her friends were going to be graduating out of that program, and she knew she was going to have to say goodbye. She didn't tell anyone how she was feeling and what she was going through during that time. As a mom, I wasn't really available to her. I can't tell you how many times I just suddenly gapped out in the middle of a conversation. I was thinking and processing all that was going on as well. One day, Nyah was listening to the radio and the song God Only Knows came on. She had never heard of this band before, but she started learning as much as she could about the band and listening to as much music as she could consume. They went on a concert tour and Nyah would come to me and say, "Mom, they're only 16 hours away. Can we please drive to that concert?" And then a week later it would be, "Mom, they're only 10 hours away now. Can we go to that one?" Thankfully, around Christmas time, they announced that they were coming on a Canadian tour. We knew immediately that this was gonna be Nyah's Christmas present. We put her off for 3 days as she kept looking at the seating chart and the tickets, and finally we knew we couldn't hold it for another 15 days. We had to tell her. Finally, the concert arrived, but the pandemic had been declared the day before. We were so scared that the concert was gonna be canceled, and let me tell you, there would have been issues in our house. After the concert, Nyah shared with me how their music ministered to her during those dark days, and how thankful she was to be able to go to that concert. We were able to talk about how difficult that season was. Nyah and I are both able to now choose joy, just as the song Joy says. I've got the main part of the cake done. Now it's time to work on all the snazzy parts. Nyah drew this picture on the board in our entrance. I'm gonna use that silhouette as the inspiration for the cake topper. Of course, I've got to cheat and use my Cricut Maker so I can cut out a template and play with the sizing easier. Once I've got the template, I'll start with some black fondant that I've already added Tylose powder to. That'll help it to harden quicker. Then set that aside because my silhouette can't just be black. Half of this cake is the dark season and the other half is the colorful, joyful season. I have 4 other colors of fondant, also with Tylose powder. I'll just knead them together a bit, stopping before the colors start to incorporate. At this point, I get to roll it out. I have to dampen the black, just a little bit, to glue them together. Then, roll the marble on top of the black to stick them together. It's gonna be so cool. Now for the template, I'll just use my X-Acto knife and trace it. Easy peasy. I already made extra support with some wire, but of course it's all bent and twisted, so I grab the 2 ends with my pliers and pull them apart, and it straightens them right up. I can't just shove it into the fondant though, because the point will just continue to make its way up through the fondant, so I'll twist one end around my needle nose plier to round it off and give it more surface area in the silhouette to prevent that. Now I can carefully push it into the design. It's still a bit soft, so I'll leave it out to dry while I work on the next element. Time to paint the song titles onto these frames. Today I'm using Sweet Stick's Rose Gold paint. It's so pretty. I cut out these frames using the same technique with the Cricut creating the template. I've looked at these type of cookie cutters many times, even earlier this week. They'll make a great addition to my collection someday. I'm going to finish painting these, then attach them to the cake with icing. After that, I'll paint a border on the frames. But while I do that, I've got one more super cool story about Nyah. There's another important thing about her favorite band. After the concert, they had been processing things as well. They had a song they had been working on for over a year called Together, and they knew with everything going on in the world, they wanted to get that song out now. They invited their fans to send in a video to be a part of the music video. Nyah sent in hers, and she anxiously awaited its release. I remember the whole family was in her room as she joined a Zoom call with Joel and Luke, the singers, along with hundreds of other fans. They got to talk about the video together and watch its release together. It was so exciting. And Nyah's in that video twice. I think For King and Country is gonna be her favorite band for a long, long time. See if you can find her in the video. I'll add the timestamps in the description box below. Okay, I can't wait to finish this cake. Let's go. The song titles are all done. Now I've just got the cake topper to finish up. I painted a border on the black side of the silhouette as well, but let's jump ahead. I need to carve a bit of the icing out because I want the bottom black bar to slide down into the cake a bit. Then I just slide it in. Perfect! Take a look at the final cake before I show Nyah. I hope she likes it. We're all done. Hopefully this cake will help us to remember that those seasons that are plain and simply awful, they're temporary. And not only that, God knows what we're going through. Even better still, we're not alone. He's always with us. Okay, let me go get Nyah. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, you like it? Yeah. So it has God only knows on this side, and Joy on that side. That's cool. Awesome, it worked, she likes it. If this story rings true for someone you love, turn around and dedicate it to them, because we're all about loving others here. Now, should we cut into it? Do you want a piece? Yeah. Okay, let's go for it. I'm gonna cut right in here. There's been a lot of talk about music in today's video. Nyah and I really want to share with you some of the songs that really encourage us during difficult seasons. We've included the links in the description box below to some of the music videos. Click right here for the God Only Knows video, or I'll see you in my next video right here. Bye, friends!